In the history of the Beatles, tensions often simmered beneath the surface, but one of the most infamous moments of conflict between band members occurred in 1969. This was when John Lennon and George Harrison came to blows during a heated argument in the recording studio. The dispute occurred during the sessions for what would later become Let It Be, a time when the band was already dealing with internal strife and personal differences. The argument arose over a musical disagreement in the studio, with Lennon, who was growing increasingly disillusioned with the band, being especially dismissive of Harrison's contributions. Harrison, who had been feeling frustrated for some time over his limited songwriting space in the band, was not one to back down. He had written several songs that he felt deserved more attention, but often found his material rejected or overlooked. In this particular confrontation, Harrison stood up for his work and his right to contribute more fully to the band's creative output. The tension reached its peak when Lennon made a derogatory comment, sparking Harrison's fury. The two had a physical altercation, with Lennon reportedly pushing Harrison and the situation escalating quickly. Paul McCartney, reflecting on the event in later interviews, admitted that it was a painful moment. "It was one of those things where the tensions just boiled over," McCartney said. John and George had always had a love-hate relationship, but it was hard to see it get physical. It was a moment of madness, really. He also mentioned that, in hindsight, the pressures of the band's disintegration made it hard for everyone to stay grounded. "We were all feeling the strain of it, and that argument was just a manifestation of everything that had been building up for years." This incident marked one of the lowest points in the Beatles' relationship, highlighting the personal and professional rifts that would ultimately lead to the band's breakup. The moment also underscored the complex dynamics within the group, where creative differences, personal egos, and the pressures of fame collided. Harrison would eventually leave the studio, and although he returned, the damage had been done. The fallout from this altercation and others played a significant role in the eventual disbandment of the Beatles in 1970. The altercation between Lennon and Harrison remains a pivotal moment in rock history, symbolizing the end of an era for the band. Their friendship would later be mended to some extent before Lennon's tragic death in 1980. But this episode serves as a stark reminder of the pressures and conflicts that can arise even in the most iconic musical partnerships.